En el vasto mundo del mercado inmobiliario comercial, donde la ambición y la visión se entrelazan, surge una figura destacada, Iván Sánchez. No solo un exitoso inversionista y prestamista, sino también un servidor público comprometido. Con experiencia adquirida al trabajar para un representante del Congreso de Estados Unidos y un miembro del Consejo de la Ciudad de Houston, Iván no solo entiende de negocios, sino también del servicio a la comunidad. Nacionalmente reconocido por fundar The Houston Millennials, la organización de jóvenes adultos más grande de la nación, Iván es la voz de una nueva generación. Bienvenidos a Mente, donde hoy nos sumergimos en la mente y visión. Bienvenido, Iván Sánchez.
Hello, everybody. Mauricio Garcia here once again. As we promise, every day we bring somebody to the podcast to share with us the mindset, what's required in order to go from where we are now to where we want to go. I'm very excited about this one. I got to hear this gentleman I'm about to introduce to you in Houston, Texas. Dynamic, very powerful message. And he's going to be sharing with us exactly, why the American dream is still alive and how he's making it happen for him so that you can make it happen for yourself. So, Iván Sánchez, without further ado, man, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Mauricio. Thank you for giving us the space to inspire the masses. I'm here as an open book. So ask away, my friend.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I love what you just said, which is to inspire. That is the key. Inspire. And the other thing is the American dream dead, man? Because people would bet that it is. And you believe otherwise. You believe the American dream is alive and well. So let's begin there.
But
why do you think the American dream is still alive?
Oh, it's still very well alive. Is just shaping to be a little bit different. In the 1960s, you can buy a house for $20,000, $30,000. Well, you still get paid a lot bigger. Inflation is high, but we have tools now that, for example, like social media, which could be used as a double-edged sword. It could take you viral, and all of a sudden you're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars for a post. Or you can be comparing yourself to other people and feel depressed. Right now, the younger generation, us, the millennial generation, which we're not so young, we're 25 to 45 years old. We're in this situation in which if we log on, we, according to studies, it says with one of the most depressed generations ever. And that's not even talking about Zoomers, the Zoomer generation, which is the newer generation, because we keep comparing to each other. But the thing is that the American dream is what you make it out to be. If you're going to be comparing, like I don't compare myself to my brothers. My brothers, we're called here in the city of Houston, the Sanchez Lions. I am currently running to be your next representative in Houston City Council here in Houston. That means I'm going to become the Houston government, the third largest city, the most powerful country in the world. But I don't compare myself to my two other brothers because they're in totally different industries. One lends about $650 million of commercial loans a year, and the other one has 700 properties, and I hardly ever see him because he's in a different country every other day. But if I compare myself to my brothers, I'm going to just be depressed. It's not about the money. It is about what makes you happy. And so people are just comparing themselves over and over in social media, Facebook, Instagram. They go on Tinder. We're now a generation that we want the easy way out. We're not lazy. We're not entitled. But what we make up in experience, we make up in drive and ideas. It's just a hard situation. But, man, look. I was pushing shopping carts 16 years ago. Some 10 years ago, I was pushing legislation in the United States Congress. I left all of that fancy suits, politics, to start all over again in commercial real estate. I said, I needed a little bit of money if I'm ever going to be your representative anywhere, because I figured, hey, tienes que hacer un poquito de billete if you want to run.
Right.
But I went into commercial real estate not knowing a damn thing. And it's about persistent consistency, because it's like a glacier. Everybody sees the shiny top and everybody's saying congratulations. but they don't see the rejections, the broke bank account, the door slammed in my face. I come from politics. All of a sudden to go into not just residential real estate, commercial real estate. How many people, Mauricio, hung up the phone on me, called me an idiot, told me I didn't know what I was talking about, and they were right. But I took the jabs right in the jaw, and I kept going. And after 20 failed deals, I closed one. And after 10 failed deals, I closed another one. And after 5 deals, lost deals, I closed another one. And I kept learning and learning and learning and learning. That's what failing is about learning, whether in politics or this organization, Houston Millennials, in which we're currently in this beautiful office of Houston Millennials, which I just started as an idea that I was frustrated, and now it has 9,200 members. It's not easy when you start. As a matter of fact, anything worth it is not easy. And now from learning those how to lend money, I was like, wait a minute. Why do I lend myself some money and buy this apartment complex just like my other brothers do? And I did that several times, and now I cashed out, and I'm very confident to be your next Houston City Council member here because I'm well-funded. I have experience in the government, and I have a grand organization with 9,000 members. And this wasn't built overnight, Mauricio. This was, it's been a ride, my friends. So the American dream, whether in the private, public, or nonprofit sectors, are still very well alive.
Man, thank you for that as an intro. So I want to go back to how you even adopted this mindset, because just like it didn't happen overnight, learning all these things and you know all the success you're having in your political career is take me back to Iván Sánchez, little boy, and who was working in your mindset to be where you are today. Because just by listening to you a little bit, it's not the common way of thinking. That is the way of thinking of the successful people that know, obviously, that with discipline, with determination, right, and emotional intelligence, all these different things is what materialized the vision. So who was Iván Sánchez as a little boy, and where did you start to learn some of these mindsets?
I'm the common Latino. I'm nothing special. I am not a superhero. I am not smarter than anybody, but I found out to double down on my talents, what I liked doing, what I found interesting. And I was a straight D student in high school, like 80% of Latino students. Like the only reason I graduated is probably because the principal wanted me the hell out of senior year. But I'll tell you what happened, but right before something extremely important happened right after my graduation that I'll save until I go back a little bit about who raised me and how they raised me. So I come from Colombia, and I'm an immigrant from Colombia. I'm a dreamer with papers, per se. My mother brought me to this country through no fault of my own. She was a prosecuting attorney, and my father a geophysicist. They both came from, I mean, it's not bad to say this, but peasant families. They were farmers. And they had huge families. And the two only educated folks in those huge families met, which was my father, Orlando Sanchez, and my mother, Marisol Moreno. They prospered. They went, graduated, like I said, in law school. She became a prosecuting attorney, and she became so good at what she was doing that she started prosecuting very bad people behind bars. So they blew up her office. My father was kidnapped 4 times. I was 6 years old, so I didn't know any of this. And apparently what happened was, they told me this when I was 17, 18 years old, that a letter came to my mom's office or house saying that next time you put the kids in the school bus, they're not coming back.
Wow.
So my mother, what does a lioness do, Mauricio, when her cubs are threatened?
Of course, man. I mean, do whatever it is, whatever you got to do to protect them. Yeah.
So she did both. And we came to the greatest country in the world for the basic necessity of safety. The trip took a toll on my parents' marriage. So it was a single lioness with 3 young cubs. They promised me that we're going to go see Disney World and Mickey Mouse. And all I knew about the United States when I was 6 years old was Mickey Mouse, Bill Clinton, and Monica Lewinsky. I didn't know what that was about, but we landed. And we landed in like a shack. Not a shack. I'm not going to do it like that. But like we were used to having a good life. And all of a sudden, we're living with our grandparents and uncles. And there's a ton of people eating rice and beans every day. I was like, this is not a vacation. Where's my damn rat? I mean, Mickey Mouse at?
Yeah.
I was 6 years old. And for fun, lo único que hacía is take the tails off lagartijas and stuff with my brother Boris. Literally. And so I quickly realized it wasn't a vacation. But let me get to the meat and potatoes of where I'm wrapping this. My mother, Latina, prospered, not knowing English. She had the mentality of, like Kobe Bryant would say, a mamba, that regardless, no matter what is in front of her, she will prosper. She will learn. Pizza Hut wouldn't even give her a job. She was overqualified and didn't know English. So she did what a boss woman would do, and she enrolled at the University of Houston, University of Texas School of Law, learned English while going to law school, graduated, started 3 companies, wrote 3 books, started getting into journalism, became the board member of the Houston Association of Realtors, became the president of the Colombian Chamber of Commerce, and at that point, I was a nightclub promoter, straight D student, vago, que no, I mean, I had my superhero with me. ¿Para qué tener extra stuff? Aquí está mi mamá, me va a proteger y todas estas cosas. Well, Mauricio, what happened was 2 months after my high school graduation, she passed away to cancer. And I remember picking up the dead weight of her head. Oh, I get really, I'm not about to do this right now. But I kind of just said that unconsciously. I think that my goal was to be half of who she was. And I looked at my resume and I'm like, how the F does a Latino that people look down on me because it's like the little, I mean, we're here in Houston Latin Talk, so I'll just say how it is. Been called the beaner many times. Mm-hmm. And so how does someone prosper with a resume that said Kroger's, that I got fired for not cleaning up some throw up, and Godiva selling chocolates at the mall, that I got fired for eating too much chocolates? How do I do this? So, con toda la pasión que tenía, yo dije, voy a hacer, no me importa lo que es. I'm going to follow my mom's footsteps, throw myself into education. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I wanted to be half of who she was. So she was an attorney. I wanted to be an attorney. And I threw myself in the only university that accepted me. That was the University of Houston downtown. It gave me that grand major opportunity to at least go. And I faked it till I made it. I wanted to be an attorney. So the best degree to go into law school was political science. Not that any young Latino is interested in those bullshitters with their suits and ties and no le vale madre nuestra gente, and I've never voted, but like, let me just get this degree so I can go to law school. But let me tell you something. Yes, my mother's death was my first passion, but my second passion was the great awakening of being informed, of being educated. And Mauricio, it was like taking a cold shower. As I walked in this class, in my upper classes called Hispanic Politics, and I told the professor, no me digas esas pinches estupideces que los pobres latinos estamos atrasados. Look at this. Yeah. We have the same opportunity and we're going to go. He told me to sit at the very front because he saw, They just wanted to school me. And bro, god damn, learning about private prisons. Yes, this country is the best country and we're here to fight and keep it the best country in the world. However, freedom, liberty, and justice, but there's private prisons. We're 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. That's creating a demand to put more people behind bars. I was pissed off learning here in Houston locally that we are 50% of the population, but we have one representative out of the $6.5 billion that the city of Houston has. We had less than 2% of those contracts, grants, monies, streets, public safety, capital improvement projects. So I'm just going to, I feel like I'm talking too much and I'll leave this.
No, you're not. No, you are not, because here's what happens, man. And what I want people to get is what drives people, like what drives Ivan. And you pointed back at that moment where you see your mother. I mean, I still have my parents, both of them. I love them very much. But when it happened to you, like you said, you picked up your mom's hand, right? And so that was the moment where you realized, or not realized, but maybe an epiphany came as, I'm going to be half of what you were. So tragedy in this case sort of woken you up, and it was that, maybe call it chip on the shoulder for the lack of a better expression, that it ignited something in you that is still lit, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm finding in all these interviews that I'm doing with people that are very successful, that something happened to them along the lines. And I sometimes wonder if tragedy doesn't strike somebody just to be inspired. I mean, you can be inspired, but there has to be other things that drive. And for some has been, the fact that a husband or wife left them. And so they wanted to prove them wrong, right? Maybe some other sort of tragedy. You've lost somebody, and that was the moment. So I'm discovering, I mean, one of the reasons we started doing this was to really dive into the mind of the people that make things happen. You're making it happen, and you were a D student, and then you overcoming all these things, right? Not only are your brothers successful, but you're successful, and where you're going. So I'm looking, what's driving you? So, you're not talking too much. You're just basically confirming, right? Like the things that you went through, and the things that are driving you to go where you're going to go. And that hopefully it inspires the people that are listening to this thing. And if you want to plug into your reasons why, I think it's legitimate. That's for most people, we never find a why. You have the whys. You have reasons that keep that flame strong enough to go over walls if necessary to get to where you want to go. So go on.
You don't really have to go through a tragedy per se, but you have to find passions. And in my case, there's about 5 different passions that stacked and multiplied. For example, that thing of like my mother coming, bringing us to this country, freedom, liberty, and justice, and then Tantena salió adelante, and then she passes away, and then me going to school and finding this out. And it's a lot more than that, because the story continues beyond that. So yeah, I was both of my brothers were business majors. They went into that. They're really, really successful, but I tell them and they tell me that we're all equally successful. I'm the broke one in the family, but not really, in the sense of we've been moving mountains, even if it's working in the mayor's office, or if I was working in the United States Congress, or now running to be your first Latino elected officials in a Latino opportunity district that was created in 2012, and we've never won. That was long to say. But if we go into that, that'll be for later. That's another passion that added way later after on the chapters that I am on my life. But not really that you have to go through something tragic. But I have found a lot of successful people, and I'm just going to be raw. That's the type of politician that I will be. Just raw, kind of giving
bring it.
You have to eat shit. Because if you don't know what the bottom is, you will never enjoy what the top is.
Yeah, that's sort of what I mean also. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So so from there, man, I mean, here's little Beaner Ivan. Like, people were still calling me from time to time, not anymore that much, because I was changing my attitude, changing how I dress. No more Ed Hardy shirts and that type of BS. Put a suit on. Beautiful thing, like JC says, JC the singer. You can always what is it? You can always rebrand yourself. You can always remake yourself. Whatever that saying really goes. Rebrand yourself, remake yourself. And I was. And then I joined the Pre-Law Association at the university. And we were supposed to be los tenaces, future lawyers. And then this organization kicked us out of a room. And it was the student government. I was like, who the hell are y'all? I was like, well, we make decisions on the student body. I'm like, man, let me see what y'all about. And I was just like, golly, all these kids that are not taking it seriously are in this organization. And they're literally making decisions on behalf of 14,000 students. And I was like, God damn. This is pretty cool. All right, let me join this. I ran up to be a student body president. I won. And then the next year, my 7th year out of a 4-year degree, I endorsed this mathematician to be the next student body president. But then we went on a retreat in Louisiana. And I've noticed that people were around me more. I was kind of leading them. They were attracted to my goofiness that merged into sheer passion / just me being me.
Wow. Okay.
And so when we came back, I told another student senator, I was like, yo, you know how we all just endorsed Isaac? Hey, bro, I'm the political scientist, am I not? I know how to calculate I know how to calculate the voting probability of somebody based on SES, socioeconomic status, which is the variables to calculate that is age, income, and education, in which I wrote a 32-page paper about. Why not me? Why am I underselling myself? So, otra pasión, it was like, I don't know if you know what Dragon Ball Z is. I went super Saiyan on this, man. I was like, boom, just exploded into like, there's nothing in this world that can stop me from this. And it was my first sincere passion to do something for me. Greater than me, but at least it was like, hey, I couldn't believe in myself to win against the established Isaac and another guy named Alan Hester, which was the president of the Accounting Association, both of which had 100 members and the other one had 140 members. I was full-time job. I had an internship at Houston City Hall, and I was going to night school. And I was just like, screw sleeping, screw eating, screw fun time. Like, this is fun as heck. Just trying to get the vote out. I mean, I was so tired one day that I passed out in the chair, but I made sure that I put a bunch of flyers on me so when the students were walking, they'll at least see the advertising.
That's great.
And dude, winning that, just, I've never led in my life. I didn't know what leadership was. And having been elected by a super majority of the students that saw where I was coming from, building a website for a little chiquito student body president race and professional flyers and all this campaign that I did. The University of Houston downtown is the underdog to the main campus, UH, or so it was. The students would put on their Facebook, I go to University of Houston, but they would forget the D in UHD. And I ran to take pride in that school. Just like I'm running for Houston City Council District J. Take pride in our side of town, bring back the economic development I love being the underdog. I love it. So winning that was just huge for me. But then it was like, God damn, what a tremendous responsibility to lead 14,000 students.
Wow.
And I gave administration and faculty hell because I never aligned with them. I was a student body president. I would be the only one that would monthly, in a monthly meeting, meet with the deans and the university president. And I would always be holding these people to, like, feet to the fire, bro. Like they erased my email blast, my communications with the students. I went to the school newspaper. I started speaking out there. They shut that down. And it was just crazy. But what elevated me to the next stage, and I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot. I'm never give a mic to a politician or a preacher.
No, you're good.
I had an epiphany as a political scientist with an emphasis in Hispanic politics. I looked at Houston. It was almost half Latino, no representation. I looked at my university. It was half Latino. Political science says Latinos don't vote, young people don't vote. And the school was a bunch of young Latinos. So what did I decide to do? I was like, if I was to ask myself 5 years ago to go vote, I would probably call you corny, get out my face, and that shit is lame.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can't just tell them it's important, guys, let's go vote. So I took my nightclub experience, turned into a political scientist. I was like, let's make this shit cool. So in the main bloodstreams of the university, the main hallways, I deputized my entire student government to have the power to register other people to vote. So I multiplied, not just added. So it was about 100 of us that were registering students to vote with the main goal. This was from August something to all the way to October, which led to a main event on November the 1st of 2012. And these voter registration tables were no some lame old tables. It's like, come on, register to vote. It's important. Bruh, I would bring like the cheerleaders there. I would put some jams. I dressed up as Captain America once. I brought a bunch of people. It was like a party in the hallways every day to register. First, register to vote, fill out this other pledge so I can follow up with you. And on November the 1st of 2012, meet us out in the South Deck because I'm about to bring some rappers to have a concert with them. And we're going to go vote together. So, dude, I brought Trey the Truth and Bumby out. We were advertising the hell out of that. I didn't know what I was doing, bro. And sure enough, at noon in the South Deck of November the 1st of 2012, I was still starstruck by politicians, dude. And when I tell you, every single judge, city council member, state representative, Congress people came out there. And I gave the worst speech of my life because I sounded like Benito Mussolini yelling on at the mic. But then the rappers came out too. And then 2,000 of us marched to go vote at the same time. And Telemundo and CNN and all these people came out to report what the hell was going on in this school. Me.
Great lessons. No, great lessons of innovation, man. Just rethinking, just reshaping and shaking the very foundations of traditional ways of doing things. It's just like I think it was Albert Einstein says, the insanity is just doing things the same, expecting different results. So that's good, man. That's inspiring. I think it really teaches that you could go and just innovate on almost anything. I don't care if it's political or whatever. One of the things I appreciated on one of your posts is like the American dream is alive. It's alive for me, and so it is in the area you are. It's just about you are working, right? You are thinking, like you're thinking differently. You're looking at a different angle. You're innovating. Those are all the things that are required to truly be successful. So anybody that would have listened to this interview and that goes back and replays the interview, who is really looking for those nuggets of those things that can really make a difference in anybody's lives, I think they're all right there, man. They're all right there. Even if you didn't specifically point at all of them, I can tell you that when you're looking for them, you will see them. So, man, we could definitely go on and on. I want to do a second and a third part to speak on those different passions that you have, and then just follow and the people that are following this podcast, for them to know how you are achieving. So, any final words that you have for us, man? Remember that the whole point of this podcast is to inspire people, let them know that they too can materialize whatever they want.
So after that huge concert or mini huge concert, that's how I was recruited into United States Congress. I cried for so many days because I just wished my mom could see where I was at that point. I'm not an attorney, but I was moving mountains, working for a senior member of Congress at that point, working with international councils, with Homeland Security, FBI, Social Security, Veterans Affairs. I started getting a belief in myself, not in an arrogant way, but in a sense that if I put my mind into this and I dive in wholeheartedly, like I am right now for this political campaign, being the underdog is great because the established are established, arrogant, and just sitting there collecting their checks. And if they don't see it coming, we're coming. We're coming.
Absolutely right.
To those people that are struggling right now, you have a lot of decisions to make. You have a lot of time management to start looking into how you're spending it.
Yeah.
For example, in this campaign right now, 59 days away from election day, I based it on my ROI. And if I'm not talking to volunteers, donors, or voters, I mean, I'm being nominated right now for so many awards. I don't got time to go pick up my award. Just mail it to me. You have to find what you like and try to monetize it or try to make a living out of it. I clean up ditches. I give roses for janitors on Valentine's Day. I place American flags on the National Veterans Cemetery, all for fun with my organization. Don't get paid for it. But now going into government, going into real legitimate power and actually changing massive amounts of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives. That's why I woke up this morning at 6 and I'm probably going to go to sleep at 1 or 2 again, over and over. So my peeps that are struggling, if you're just doing it, I know your 8 to 5 is exhausting, but what about that 5 to 10, 5 to 11 afterwards? What are you doing with that time? It's okay to relax, but know that that time is what's going to make you escape. Just like a real estate agent, what are you doing? Or any other industry, we can still prosper. I worked in Kroger's. I worked in Godiva, all the way to now Congress and being a commercial real estate lender and being the president of this huge organization that's now running to be your government in Houston. Do not give up. It is always going to be hard before it gets easy. So truck on and believe in yourself.
Great message, man. We'll leave it there, and hopefully you'll accept other invitations to have these conversations with us. I truly love your passion. Great message. Big hug to you over there, all the way to Houston, Texas. I think that's where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And we wish you success, man. Really, really proud of what you're doing and just the whole leadership. It's not just what you're doing locally, but it's what you're doing in terms of actions and making things materialize. That is leadership demonstrated and can be absorbed by anybody in the world. So thank you for that. Have an awesome rest of your day, rest of your week, and good luck in what you're doing, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauricio. See you to the top.
Yeah, so hey, before we wrap it up, I just want to make sure that you follow Iván Sánchez. We're going to put his information in this page. Make sure that you share with as many people as you can. I think what he's doing is phenomenal, and he's a great example for all of us to follow. The whole idea is to inspire you that you too can go out there and conquer whatever your dream is. It doesn't have to be being an elected official. It can be whatever you want it to be. And just like he said, it doesn't have to be tragedy. Sometimes all you need is that spark, that inspiration from somebody else to demonstrate that you can make it happen as long as you make a decision, take aggressive, massive, imperfect action, and those actions will lead to the possible failures that you have to go through, but then continue to grow and just persevere until you achieve. So with that being said, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you in the next interview. Take care. Bye-bye.